I think it's time we will go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Alertus Power Lunch, User Management and Alertus Console Customization. My name is Sarah, and I'm a trainer here at Alertus. I'm also joined by Brooke, another member of our training team here at Alertus. And during this session, we will walk you through the process of updating user roles and assigning restrictions, allowing you to tailor each individual's permissions in the Alertus console to fit their unique needs. Plus, we'll also dive into how you can modify Alertus console settings to apply system-wide changes that enhance your organization's alerting capabilities. This is an interactive session, so please feel free to ask any questions using the Q&A feature or the chat. And please also be aware that this session is being recorded for training purposes. But without further introduction, Brooke will go ahead and get started. I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. And thank you all for being here today. I am going to start sharing my screen. And you should hopefully be seeing my Alertus console here on the screen. I'm going to log into my admin account. And once I do, you will be greeted by our home page here in the white section, and then our navigation bar over here on the left. So starting with settings, settings will exist down here at the bottom. If you haven't upgraded your server in a bit, it might exist under configure system as well. But hopefully you have updated your server. If you do need to update, do let us know. But when you come to configure settings, this is going to be how to affect settings, change settings that affect all users. So all users will be able to have the settings you set up in here. So you can set up some default values for any of your activations or timeouts for any of your requests. You also can enable and disable features here. So say, for example, you don't want to have anyone use rapid activation. You will see it over here on the left bar, but if I turn this off and then I save, now it will disappear on this side as well once this loads. So now you no longer see rapid activation here. So once again, this is for all settings. The other things you can do would be, I'm going to turn that back on, but you can set up some security for enabling strong passwords or specific user session timeouts or how many people can be locked in at a certain time. You can show some support section pages as well as a login banner for when people are on the login page. So once again, there are a lot of settings here that you can use that affect all users. However, if you do want to customize for specific users, you can do that. You can set up specific types of activations, specific reports, specific configure system settings, all of that for specific users. That would live in a different spot. Under configure system settings, you would go to users and access rights. So underneath users and access rights, this is going to allow you to manage user role and user restrictions. And as you can see down here, these are all of the users in our training.alertus.com system that can log in. Everyone has to have a role. That's mandatory. And then optionally, you can add a restriction. And I'll go into the difference between those two in a bit. So when you are adding a new user manually, you will come here, you will click the add user button. You will fill out the username. So a lot of people just use the login information for the SSO information you have already, or any sort of email address. You can put whatever username you want. Enabled just means that they can currently log in. So if you disable someone, that means they can no longer log into the system. Then once again, you have to set up a role, but restriction is optional. So that's why you see that this one is red and this one is green. So the role you will choose from one that you have already created. And then restriction, you can choose from something you've created as well, but you can also stick with none. Then you will set up their email address, and you can add in any notes here you want as well, but that is also optional. And then the last part is going to be authentication. So you can either invite the user to create their own password via email right here and include a message to them, or you can manually create the password for the user here as well, put in the password, confirm it again, and then add them. And so those are the two ways that you can set up the password credentials. So adding a user, very simple, but going into roles and restrictions, The roles live here and restrictions live down here as well. This will also be very simple once we dive in. But this is going to be for roles. You're going to be managing what people will see on this left navigation bar. So what pages they have access to. So here I already have some set up. Let's look into my preset only user. So preset only user, the first part is going to be the name. So that's just the name of the role, whatever you want to call it. You can call it security team, you can call it front desk operators, or whatever you want to have. Description is optional, once again, which is why you don't have that bar next to it, but you can give a further description around what this is. And then the next thing is the homepage layout. So homepage layout is going to allow users to see certain things on the homepage. And as a reminder, the homepage, when you log in, is this white section over here. So as an admin, you're going to have a button up at the top that says Manage Homepage. This will, once you open it, you'll be able to see and select different reports and widgets that you can see. But you can also set it up for different user roles. So this is my administrator homepage. This is my preset only homepage. And I can manage these layouts here. So for my preset only homepage, I'm assigning it to my preset only role. So you can assign it here, or you can assign it and in the users and access rights. But this is going to be where you set up what this homepage looks like for the different types of users. And this is handy because for administrators, you probably will have more information available to you, especially around the different warnings you have, or system activity, or any of the system resources that you're using. And for preset only users, you don't really need to have them see that. You probably just want to have them have their presets chosen for you, any message that you share, and then the support. So you can, like I said, make this really customizable here for the different home pages. So going back to users and access rights, we have our user roles. Once again, I'll go into this preset only one. So we have set up the name, the description, the home page that they see, and then the console permissions are below. So right now, this user can only send preset activations. They will not have access to desktop, custom, rapid. They cannot cancel alerts. They cannot override anything. They only can send alerts. But maybe I do want to be able to cancel alerts, so I'll give them the ability to do that there. In addition, they currently can see all the reports, but maybe I don't want them to have access to all the reports. Maybe I just want them to see the alert history report and the attached ones there, and maybe the group memberships report as well. So you can have that available here. Then dashboards, they don't need to see dashboards. We don't need them to see the map. And then under configuration, you can get even more customizable. So here we have alert devices. I can give all, or I can just give viewability, or add, edit, delete, or just edit and add and view. So you can really get customizable here in this section. It is a best practice to allow all users to view preset alerts. So being able to view these preset alerts, I'll show you once I log in as this user, but it will allow them to add to their quick access menu and favorite the alerts they want to see. So that is a best practice there that I do recommend turning on. So this is how I have my preset only role set up. I don't need them to do anything with the system or any errors. So I'm going to save this role. And as you see, my preset only user is this preset only role, but they do also have a restriction. So I'm going to scroll down now to restrictions. Down here, we have these different restrictions. You can add new ones, but this is going to limit the groups, alert devices, alert profiles, and preset alerts that people can access. So this preset only user was with this restriction. So looking in here, once again, you can restrict the units, the groups, the alert profiles, and the preset alerts that people can see. It is a best practice to stick with just restricting the preset alerts for most of our Alertus customers. If you do have a very complex system, you can come up here and restrict different units and groups and alert profiles. Absolutely feel free to do that if you feel comfortable navigating that space. But that is more so, like I said, for very complex systems that have a lot of different sites and a lot of different capabilities that you need to watch out for. So I recommend sticking with preset alerts here. So preset alerts, instead of seeing all 40 some of these alerts. Now this user is only going to see the ones that I've checked. So maybe I only want them to see the all clear, the evacuate, the shelter in place, the system test, and maybe the medical emergency one as well. So I'll select this and I'll save this. And so now this user, preset only user, is set with this role and this restriction. So I'm going to log into this specific user so you can see how it looks different than what I have as my admin account. So let me log out. And I will log back in as a preset only user. And now you can see that I only have preset activation. I only have the alert history reports attached and the group membership reports. And under configure system, I only have preset alerts. And when I go to these preset alerts, I only have the 5 that I've checked. And in preset alerts, I cannot edit, I cannot clone, I cannot delete, I cannot add. All I can do is star them over here on this side, and whatever I star will now be added to my quick access menu here, where I can send out the alerts. All right. Just as a reminder, I know I just went through a lot there. The chat is open and available for you to put in any questions, as well as the Q&A feature. But I'm going to pop back now to my admin account and show you a few more things in this section. All right, so now back in the admin account, once again, that is where I can edit my users and access rights. Coming here to manually add users is how I can add anyone that I would like to, especially if I want to add someone as a super user, you have to manually add them as an admin. But you also, as you can see, can add using LDAP and Active Directory in the middleware settings. So you can click on this button, or you can come down here to middleware, and that will open up a new page and bring you to Alertus middleware settings. If you go to LDAP and Active Directory, here is where you can set up to 5 LDAP domains to be set up to talk to our Alertus system. And then under here where it says LDAP login, you can set up specific roles. So you can automatically assign people to specific roles using LDAP as well. So if you set up the preset only role, user and admin role to be exactly the way that you want, and then utilize LDAP to create those users so you don't have to manually add them all in. So that is there for you as well as an admin. In addition, I think that preset only users are definitely one of the most used cases for our restricting and for creating different roles within the system. We want to make sure that people aren't changing any configurations. We don't want to overwhelm users with things that they don't need to see. We really want to make the process really simple for them so they can go in and quickly activate and not have to deal with anything that's not applicable to them. And so we would like to have those different roles set up, but even for admins, this could be good as well. So if you are an admin in the system, or maybe you have other people on your campus or at your organization that are administrators, but not like super users, like top users, what you can do is create a different admin role that would also grant access to specific things that are only applicable to you. So I'm going to add a new role. I'm going to call it University Admin here. And then I'm going to give them the administrator homepage. And for this admin, I'm going to pretend that I work at a university that has desktop, that has text-to-speech speakers, and has alert beacons, but does not have our outdoor HPSA siren, does not have any Wi-Fi panic buttons, does not utilize location settings, anything like that. So now I'm going to set up this admin account to have those settings. So first off, with the alerts, I do want my admin to have access and the ability to send any type of alerts. So I'm just going to select all. They can send rapid, preset, desktop, custom. They can cancel. They can send and enable and override and all of that stuff. For reports, I know that I definitely want them to have the alert history report. I want them to have the group membership report. We don't utilize locations, so I'm not going to worry about that. I do want them to have the system activity report, but then we don't have mobile, we don't have VoIP, and we don't have 911 Connect. So I'm just going to simplify it even for my admins as well. So I'm going to turn off those reports. For dashboards, we only have the event dashboard. We don't have our HPSA. We are not a FEMA affiliated group, so we don't have IPAWS. and we don't have the Lightning license as well. And then we don't use our map for locations. We utilize groups instead. So that is what my admin will need to see. And then underneath configuration, I'm going to give all of the abilities for the pages that are applicable. So I'll turn on alert devices, alert profiles, alert services, contacts, custom event triggers, desktop. But we don't have 911 Connect. We don't have fire panels and alarms. We do have groups, homepage. We don't have HPSA. We don't use HTML. We don't use iPause. We don't use locations. But I'll turn on media, message templates, network audio. We don't have these connections. We do have these for desktop. Preset alerts are important. Scheduling alerts can be important as well. Settings, text-to-speech speakers. USB panic buttons. If you have desktop panic buttons, you can put those on. Users and access rights is important, but web push and Wi-Fi panic buttons, not so much. And then I'll be able to give them all access to my system as well. So this is just going to further simplify things even for your admin. So I'll add this as a new role. I now see it here for my university admin. Let me give it to this specific user right here so I can log in as that user. I'll change their role to university admin and save. And now when I log in as that user, I will now see that I have all the activation types, but I only have the event dashboard. I only have the reports that matter to me. And then underneath configure system, I only have the things that matter to me once again. So I don't see Wi-Fi panic buttons. I don't see anything about HPSA. And this once again just makes it more simple for even admins in the system. But I can still come in here and edit, clone, delete, add all of that stuff. So yeah, just really a good spot to, like I said, really make your console as customized as you would like for any and all of your different people who have access to this, any and all of your users. So I believe that is all that I have to share with you today. Sarah is going to add things into the chat for a user guide for the users and access rights section. So this page right here. And then also a page for the settings page as well that I covered in the beginning. So you'll be able to get both of those in the chat any second. And we do have some time for questions. So feel free to come off mute or add it into the chat or Q&A spot for any questions. And I'll throw it back to you, Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you, Brooke. That was very helpful. And like Brooke mentioned, I'm putting those resources into the chat. So I just put in the user guide for updating users and access rights. And then I will also momentarily put in the link to the chat for the Alertus Console Settings page that Brooke also walked us through. And so far, I don't see any questions in the Q&A box or the chat, but I did open the chat up to everyone. The Q&A is available as well, so we can stick around for a few more minutes to answer any questions that you might have about what we discussed today. But thank you everyone for joining this Alertus Power Lunch. It's great to see you here, and hopefully you will continue to check out some future Power Lunches. Next week on April 4th, we do have an Alertus Power Lunch that is an Alertus Operator Activator training. So that would be really helpful for any dispatchers at your organization. Brooke, again, will be leading and walking us through all of the activation methods and all of the reports in the Alertus console. So hopefully we will see you next week as well, but I hope everyone has a really great weekend.
Awesome. And thank you all again for coming. This has been recorded, so feel free to reach out if you would like to receive the recording. And it will be uploaded onto our Power Lunch pages on the web customer portal soon.
And we do also have an Alertus training YouTube channel that will also get these Power Lunch videos, so you can find us there as well.
I'll put that in the chat. That's a good point. Here we go. All right. Thank you all.